Hey friends, so here are a few things to keep in mind this week and a couple of practices that I'd like for you to try to lean into in conversation with your child. First, I want to let you know that I think that your ability to teach your children how much God loves them is very much related to your capacity to experience the love of God for yourself. Your child may learn of the love of God and they may experience the love of God in so many ways. I mean, so many ways. And some of their experience of the love of God will come through you, even when you aren't trying to. So God's intention is to love your children through you, and you get to be a conduit of God's love, regardless of how much healing and formation work that you've been engaged in, because God is committed to loving your children. However, your capacity to be sort of part of teaching your child about the love of God in a direct way, in an intentional way, can only grow to the extent that you are growing in the ability to receive God's love. And my challenge to you as a parent is to consider how you can continue to engage in growing towards becoming the kind of person who regularly sits in God's presence, asking God not just to remind you of His love for you, but asking God to give you a direct experience of His love. And so here's what I'd like to ask you to do. Would you be willing to take just 15 minutes each day this week to find a quiet place and a place that's free of distraction? And maybe for some of you who prefer to move your body, maybe you should sort of head out the door and go for a walk or find a park bench. Whatever you need to do to remove distractions and find some quiet. I want you to take 15 minutes each day this week and rest before God with a posture of prayer. I like to sort of open my hands to God sometimes when I pray, and I want you to pray this very simple prayer. God, would you give me an experience of your love? Would you show me your love for me? That's it. That's the only thing I want you to pray this week. God, would you give me an experience of your love? Would you show me your love for me? And then I want you to pay attention to what comes to your mind during that prayer. Ask God to draw your attention towards His love for you. When it comes to God loving you, that you are the one being loved means that you are the object of God's love and affection. You are the person that God is loving. And my experience is that we simply don't spend enough time allowing ourselves to recognize that God's love is not just for all of the things, but God's love is also uniquely for you. And so as you grow in your capacity to sit in God's love and experience God's love, listen, this will naturally trickle down to your ability to communicate to your children how great God's love is for them. Loved people spill out love onto others. So secondly, I want you to spend some time this week having some conversation with your child about how unique they are in their personality, in their body, maybe in their sense of humor or the things that they enjoy. Be present to the uniqueness of your child this week. Help them notice their dimples and their freckles. Help them see the uniqueness of the way that they climb a tree or find things in the dirt, or the uniqueness of the pitch of their voice when they sing. Find something to point out to your child that you can sort of relish in. And remind your child, say something like, hey, do you know that God is absolutely in love with you? And then ask them something like, why do you think God loves you? Consider their answer and consider how much it reveals about how they are thinking and experiencing the love of God. Remind your child that God would love them under any circumstances. Maybe set aside an extra 15 minutes or so this week and open up the scriptures with your child and read with them Paul's encouragement in Ephesians chapter 3. He says this, "For this reason I kneel before the Father, from whom every family in heaven and on earth derives its name. I pray that out of His glorious riches He may strengthen you with power through His Spirit in your inner being, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. And I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, may have power together with all the Lord's holy people to grasp how wide and long and high and deep is the love of Christ, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled to the measure of all the fullness of God.